searching for truth, taking some calls. Some people claim something wrong with his brain, 'cause he knows we don't live on the ball. Caffeine and Mandela affected, the facts are collected. It's a beautiful day now in this neighborhood. Staveley streaming truth tonight in Centerville. Karen be on, caller watching the chat. Some people claim we've got nothing to gain, but we know it's still and it's flat.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of ESH News. And this time I have the great honor to host us, those of reality, the best. Brian S Staveley, how are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to have you on our show. Did I pronounce correct Staveley?
Yeah.
Okay. I always have a problem with that name. As pretty much I would have to confess right now that you have a problem with my name. Each time you go on and say ESH News. I don't know if it's like the Irish in you or whatever, but it's ESH, okay? ESH, it's like fire.
ESH.
ESH.
Oh, okay, ESH News.
ESH News. It's
all right, my bad.
It's fire, and it's also like a flat earth initials in Hebrew. Anyways, so it's good to have you on our show because mainly I'm also like a friend and also like a big fan of your shows at Those of Reality, and this is pretty much the reason that I'm going on every couple of weeks or so on your show and try to time myself to join along. And
yeah, man. I enjoy your calls. I like when you call in. You're always fired up when you call in. It's great. You'll be like, "Hey, Ryan, it's Stephanie. This is Steve from Israel."
Yeah, just like I told you, it's like in the morning times after I'm having my crap. So it's kind of like like hard to be like with all this fire, but I'm getting myself better. Anyway, so it's pretty much good that you came over here, and on this show I want to pretty much publicize your show and promote it as much as I can, and you especially because you're our guest. Each time I'm coming to your shows, and I'm like blabbing all the time about myself and Israel and whatever. So it's a good opportunity that we will host you over here, and because I think that Israelis have a good opportunity over here to get to know you and your shows. For me personally, I followed in my first steps as a truther. After lots of like shows, lots of people, Mark Sargent, Jeranism, all kinds of people, and kind of like discovered you a little bit later on, and I promised myself that as we define ourselves as an international channel, so I will keep on following all the truthers shows from abroad. So, and along the way I encountered your show, and yours is Karen and Stephanie and whoever you combine forces with. And first of all, I will have to say that I just enjoy them a lot. Okay, I'm just enjoying. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the content, enjoying your mood, your atmosphere over there, over the broadcast. Enjoying the curses a lot, and it's kind of like became one of my favorite shows to watch, especially the ones abroad. And yeah, I will stop blabbing. And we'll ask you, how are you today? I understood that you are like after a very long marathon of like 1 or 2 weeks of involving with 9/11 over here. So how did that go?
Good, actually, very good. We could. This is because I know some people might listen to this, right when you put it up. Some people might listen to this later on. So we're recording this just after the 20th anniversary of 9/11. That's what you're referring to. So I was very busy over the last couple of weeks, because every year I do this. I reflect back on that day, because I feel there's still a lot of things to be learned about that day, especially from the truth community. And there's a lot of misconceptions about what's happened. And I got a really good response. So I did several shows and interviews and stuff this week and over the weekend. I did a marathon of a show, like 6 hours long, on Saturday, and I still had more stuff to talk about last night. So I went live again last night. But I had a lot of people message me near, because I knew that, like, and I know we'll talk about COVID and everything after on, but I knew, because how everybody sees how ridiculous COVID is, especially people in the truth community, like, they know it's completely ridiculous.
Yep.
So I feel now maybe they're ready to go back with those same eyes and look at the different aspects of 9/11 that I've been talking about for a long time. So I've had some success. I've had a lot of people over the last week, literally like maybe 6 or 7 people messaged me and told me that they had their parents watching my show this weekend, or they had their kids watching my 9/11 shows this weekend, and they're really starting to get it. So yeah, it's been a busy week, but it's been a rewarding week as well.
Yeah. I tried to watch most of your shows, and I would tell you that I really enjoyed them, and especially about the COVID, but we'll talk about it afterwards. I think that I also got the urge to call this morning here in Israel, but it was yesterday at yours. I called in, and I talked a little bit about this terror fake that we have over here. And I told you over there that the suicide bombs, over here in Israel, are like real, are like happening. But still, we have a whole problem with the narrative of the story of how terror attacks really do happen. Now, in these current times, what are the new reveals regarding 9/11, like in the 20th anniversary? What else can you reveal around it?
Oh, well, that's a good question, because for me, it's not new. It's something I've been trying to, because I've been doing this for 11 years, including taking the calls live on the air, everything. And it was a lot of 9/11 for the first 4 or 5 years. And I went very deep into it. So basically, what it is near is, you know, when 9/11 happened, like, for instance, right now, if you walked up to a so-called normie on the street, or a family member, somebody that doesn't look into any of these things,
Mhm.
and you walked up to somebody in the truth community and you start talking about 9/11, who's actually in more fear of what they believe? Well, I would say the truth community. I would say most people, at least in America, they're not really that scared of 19 hijackers anymore, even if that's what they used to believe. But the truth community assumes that thousands of people had buildings dropped on their head when they showed up to work one day, and they've been spreading fear throughout everything since then. And a lot of their fear is based, and I'm not saying there's not screwed up things in the world, but a lot of the truth community's fear is based off events that actually did not happen, even the way that the truth community portrays them. And it took a lot of years for even people to accept the idea that there might have been no planes used at all on 9/11, even in New York City. And I used to take a lot of heat for that. Now, finally, a lot of the truth community has been waking up to that the last few years. But the fakery doesn't stop there. It goes much farther than that. And it's time for everybody in the truth community to start digging into the things that I've been saying about the lack of evidence of victims in the towers. And we can get deep into all of that. But that's where I try and get everybody to go back. And now that everybody's had the advantage of seeing all these other fake events since 9/11, like Sandy Hook and all these other things going forward, I would think maybe now, and seeing all the fakery from NASA. So most of the people we know, near me and you combined, most of the people we know that NASA is a complete fraud and all the imagery is fake. So now it's time to go back and look at that 9/11 imagery, and you're going to see it's just like NASA imagery.
Yep, pretty much. I always tell people about terror attacks that it's kind of like porn, because everybody gets fucked, but the plot is really unreliable. Anyway, I guess that what we got in common with the terror attacks and the other fakeries, I think it's the way that they capture the public opinion with the media, the way that. I don't know, as you said, spreading fear and everything. I will tell you one story that you might find interesting. During the last collision that we got over in May, I talked to you about. There was like all those fire rockets from Gaza Strip, and one time there were like people in Tel Aviv beach that their sirens was heard over there, and some of the people that were like on the beach, they didn't went up fearing and going hiding finding shelter. And there were like a few people that stayed on the beach and said, nothing good is gonna hit over here. And later on in the media, when they covered it and they kind of showed it with so much of fear and resentment, there are people on the beach who are not afraid, who are who are not like yelling with their hands out and and saying it's the end of the world, and they are not fine. They are not a good people, okay, because they are like spreading, whatever they're spreading, I don't know, they're spreading something, they're giving bad example to the other people how to behave. I told myself, if this war would continue on a few more days, so they will start fining people, for not running like crazies whenever there's sirens on, because this is the way that they look at the people who don't have this fear, okay? The people who don't have this fear is us truthers, and that really irritates them. Okay, that we don't capture this fear. This is why they, I guess, chasing after all the unvaccinated, and I guess this is lead us on to the next subject.
It's the same thing. Yeah. 9/11 is just like COVID. There's so many parallels, and again, you're fighting the invisible enemy and all this, and just like they had the fake patriotism with 9/11, and everybody's all, USA this, and everybody's all about firefighters and cops. Now it's everybody's a frontline hero and a frontline worker. Even the grocery store guys. I mean, it's ridiculous. They got everybody with this false sense of heroes. They all think they're heroes, and they're really just a bunch of cowards. But the media is the biggest problem. Yeah. So some of the things I said earlier, I hope after this interview, people might go back if they haven't and looked at some of my 9/11 stuff. But the media is the biggest problem. They push and promote fabricated fear. And there is literally, and I'm not even talking like Mandela effect stuff yet, but I mean, there's literally like two different realities, because these people live in the reality of what comes through that screen. If you just go outside, like I've been trying to prove all year and getting in and out of airplanes and all this, there is no pandemic. It's just through the screen. There's no pile of bodies. There's no overflowing hospitals. There's no undertakers at morgues working overtime. There's no wailing of ambulances all day, rushing people to the hospital. Where was this all year? They even built all these empty field hospitals everywhere and never filled them with people. So anybody that says it's too big to be a hoax about any of these things, or too many people would have to be in on it, man, lots of people are in on it. People sell their soul for the dollar very easily. And in fact, there's people in our own families and friends of ours that we might know that are in on it. Not to the point where they think they're like some government agent or something, but they're going along with things that they know don't add up, and people's lives are at stake, and they don't want to lose their job over it, so they stay silent. So they're in on it, right?
Yeah. I think that the image that I'm trying to think about these times, it's you have a pit, okay? A pit, and you got like two sides of the pit. Now, on one side of the pit, you have everyone who's like orchestrating this thing, okay? And on the other side of the pit, you got like the truthers. Now, on the pit itself, you got all the rest, okay? All the people who are like just in between, okay? Now, what's happening these days with yours, with Biden's speech lately, and with ours, is getting to a critical point, which is the walls of this pit is kind of like closing down, like in Indiana Jones or something. All the sheeple inside need to escape this pit and to choose on which side to go, okay? Whether like on this side, on that side, because the pit is closing, they can't stay in the middle anymore, And I think this is kind of like the image that I got from this thing, and we kind of like mentioned Biden's speech, and altogether I very admire the way that you're covering the pandemic over there in the fake pandemic, whatever, over there in Dose of Reality. I think that over the last weekend or so, I saw that your comments that you and Karen did over on Biden's speech. And for me, it was hilarious. I don't know. I left my ass off and kind of like I listened to it. I think like 3 times or so, and kind of like and on the third time, I think I thought about like counting the times that you're saying fuck on this broadcast.
Oh, I was mad. Yeah, I was mad. You know what? But I just try to keep it real. Like I speak the way I speak. I know some people get offended, but like that's just how I am, you know. So and I think everybody feels the same way, and that's how we talk. And I know that's not everybody's style, but yeah, I dropped a lot of F-bombs that day, you know. But I can hold them in. Like if I go on like a heavily Christian-based show and they don't want any swearing, or a radio show, I'm fine. I can manage. But on my show, man, I'm just gonna let it out. And the things that these people are trying to do to manipulate people, it makes me very mad. You know, I try and stay positive, but it makes me mad and angry too. You know, I get angry at that stuff, even though I know Biden's an actor and it's all a script. But other people think that it's real, you know, and they'll walk right off a cliff if led there, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that there is also like a pretty much connection, along with, I told you like in the get-go that we have a pretty much connection with what regards like Israel and United States, and also like Europe, because everything that happens over here happens, 2 months afterwards in the other states. We are like the highly vaccinated country in the world. We are the highly vaccinated country in the world, and currently the highest number of COVID cases per day. But you get this. You're supposed to be like a country vaccinated, whatever. Yeah, but still we have like an uprising per million people, which is phony baloney, of course, but because the numbers are fake. But the thing is with Biden and Bennett, our new prime minister, it was such funny because over there in the speech, Biden said the headline of the speech was, "We got impatience with the unvaccinated," right? And like afterwards, Bennett, he kind of like said the same thing, like in Hebrew over there, like the next day over in the news or something like that. He said, in the Hebrew way. So I kind of like commented on that and said, yeah, they have the same script writer, okay, but they probably pay a lot of money to the translation companies to spread it around to all the leaders and everything, because you see that they're using the same sentences, okay, so you can see how like coordinated it is. Oh, by the way, the last catchphrase that Bennett got was that you should charge yourself like an iPhone with the vaccine every few months.
Oh my God!
The transhumanism has began. It's very simple. Like we have an iPhone and we charge it. You have to charge yourself with vaccines as a human being or something like that. Anyway, creepy stuff over here in Israel, but we'll leave it for another show. I think that we'll do a short break, okay, and we'll get back to you to talk about all sorts of other stuff.
We are live here at the Magnolia Grand Center in Spartanburg, South Carolina, site of Flattoberfest 2021. This will be our third event during the current situation that the world is in right now. No better time for everybody to get down here, meet like-minded people, and hang out. Not only are we going to have this great event is going to be 2 days long. We're also going to have hundreds of us gathered in one hotel, and we're going to go give you guys some footage soon. We're going to walk around here. We're going to show you some of the restaurants, bars. There's a bowling alley right behind this place, and there's even an indoor go-kart racing place, which we just found today. So check out flatearthfestivals.com, get your tickets, and I will see you guys at the end of October. You see all this area behind us right here? All these tables, outside seating? It's going to be packed with hundreds of flat earthers. We're taking over this town. Don't miss out.
So guys, we're back over here. ESH News. We're hosting Dose of Reality with Brian S Staveley. Staveley, yeah. And over here, we had the first after the show, pretty nice. We talked about Dose of Reality and 9/11 and a little bit about COVID as well. And now I think over the break we've seen the publication for the Flatoberfest. And I think that for me it's kind of like nostalgic in some way because the initiation of Esh News was in the conference that we had in Europe back in September 2019, and just before all hell break loose, and. Over there, it kind of was like part of the big conferences that they had in the States until the COVID year. And now I think that Flatoberfest is kind of like the continuation for that, or like what's going on over there?
Yeah, well, it'll be the third Flatoberfest, the third annual one, but this will be the second one that Karen has organized during COVID. So we've had one Flatoberfest already, one event last spring called Solar Return, and we're having another event in just a few weeks, near the end of October, where we'll probably have 400 flat earthers all together under one roof. Nobody there promoting a mask, wearing a mask, nobody doing the vaccine thing, everybody having a good time. And we keep repeatedly doing this, we have people going in and out of airports. We have 400 people under one roof. People are giving hugs, everything, and nobody's getting sick. Everybody's fine. Nobody has COVID, and it's really therapeutic for all of us. A lot of us, like, even though we know that this nonsense is going on, I've gone out a lot to challenge it and just to try and live my life. But I know a lot of people haven't. A lot of truthers have kind of just stayed in, and you can't totally blame them. But it's time to get out and spend some time with some like-minded people, recharge your batteries, and we're gonna have like 2 days of presenters and music, and we're basically going to take over this little town over there, this little city, this little downtown area. It's like all this outdoor seating and stuff. There's even an indoor go-kart track that we're all going to mess around on. So it's just going to be a great time, and we're just going to continue to live our lives positively. Unfortunately, while a lot of the world crumbles around us, but.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that Flat Earth got to do a lot with COVID, of course. For me, I'm kind of like found out Flat Earth, of course, before COVID, and but all the people that kind of like were in Flat Earth once COVID started, so they kind of like switched over and they started doing COVID content. So and kind of like I felt that the subject of flat Earth kind of like is neglected in some way. I know recently we had all these things to Mars and whatever claiming supposedly to be. So it could be a great flat Earth material to debunk over there. And I don't know. I haven't seen the involvement, let's say, in the last year or two, pretty much as beforehand with the subject of flat Earth. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. COVID took precedent over everything else. There are some, and I think it was needed that a lot of people transition. It's very important to address the psyop that's going on in the world right now. I mean, it's gone into a second year of school now where kids are forced to put a mask over their face.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it needs to end. So. They're all important deceptions to uncover, right? The globe, COVID, 9/11, all these things are so high up. And I always try to be the guy that tell you, I'm not going to say what's more important than the other. And I mean, that's all comes from somebody's perspective too, and how they've lived their life. But right now, what's going on needs to be addressed, priority over everything.
Yeah.
It's really, now, granted, I will reflect back, and again, I still talk flat earth to people, even on the street now. Once I start talking to them about COVID, they open up, and I see that they're ready to handle some other things. I tell them I don't trust the space agencies, and then we get into these types of conversations. And it's, I was talking to a doctor about COVID at a bar, talking for a good 25 minutes. Halfway through it, though, I told him I don't think NASA's real, SpaceX, Earth's flat, all these things, and people, it's helped open people's mind a little bit to some of these other things. But I will say, if the people we have been preaching to for years about these lies, if they would have listened to any one of the major lies that we told them about, they probably wouldn't be masking their kids up right now because they wouldn't buy it from the media. But it's a little too late for that. So now we really got to snap them out of the trance that they're in. Everybody's under a dark spell right now.
Yeah, the spell is very dark. I'll tell you. I will tell you some flat Earth fact for you, which is relevant for actually today. Today is like the days between Rosh Hashanah, which is the New Year, and the Yom Kippur, which is the big mourning day. Everybody's like fasting in Yom Kippur. It's like a very honorable holiday over here. Now, the days in the Hebrew calendar, these days, these 10 days between those two holidays are called in the Hebrew language Ben Kse leAsor, meaning like it's between the Kse and the Asor. The Kse is covering, okay? It's something which is covered, and Asor is 10. Okay, it's like a digit 10. Now, what they're referring there over there is the shape of the moon, okay, over these days, because when it's like kse, it's like covered, okay, and when it's like asor, it's like slightly full, okay, like almost full. Now, you should like take a notice on the word kse, okay, whenever there is no moon on the sky, the way they referred it in the Hebrew calendar was that something covers the moon, okay, that there's an object which is kind of like covers the moon whenever it kind of like you have different shapes in each day, okay? They have kind of like a lid or something like that that kind of like covers maybe the projection of it or whatever. So this is kind of like a nice fact to know that people in ancient times, that when they thought of the Hebrew calendar, they kind of like prospect the moon in that way. Cool. So we here. Going on to the next subject that we're going to talk about, which is, I know you're full with everything, but the main thing that you kind of like started with, or the main thing that you are known of, is by the Mandela effect. And this is a thing that lots of people over here in Israel are not aware of. They're not really into it. Looks to them like a very, devious subject to talk about it. I agree with them because it's kind of like it can screw with your brain after a while when you're dealing with it. You probably know that. So and I'm saying that in your show you're still showing lots of Mandela effect content, and where is that going in new places these days?
Well, for me, I mean, that's for me, it's like the most profound thing I've come across yet. It's the most mind-blowing topic out of all of these, because it's literally, and again, I guess what I will say is opinions, as far as any theory on anything. But for me, it's literally us being shown that there's much more than the physical realm here. And there are just so many changes that many of us have witnessed in real time as we were observing things, because they have changed several times. And I know people in other countries might have a hard time with it, or they think it's just all American. It's not. But I will say, like, it's hard for me to give people examples in their countries. I don't know their products and their media or even their local geography like they would, So I don't know how big it is over in Israel, but it's not just America. People are talking about it in Spanish-speaking countries. People are talking about it in Asian countries. And it is a lot more than just media. Guys, it is historical events. It is changes to the anatomy, changes to the way the land masses are laid out across the world. All sorts of things, including personal changes in people's lives. So it's very profound. Like, for instance, one of them that I think is a good example that I could give a world audience, an international audience, would be, huge historical events like Black Tom, which nobody's ever heard of, but now there's this whole terror attack that happened on the U.S. from 2 German spies sneaking in through New Jersey in 1916 and blowing off 100,000 pounds of TNT and killing 5 people, injuring 120, and damaging the Statue of Liberty so bad that nobody's ever been to the torch. This is huge historical events all of a sudden in our time. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
So it's pretty mind blowing, and we actually have a lot of evidence that people they think it's just like this collective memory, false memory thing. It's not that at all. And we also have pieces of evidence that are left over that shouldn't exist that represent everything that we remember.
Mhm.
It's quite a deep topic. It's very triggering. But if I would suggest anybody that's new to it, just go to my Odyssey or my Rockfin and look at my Mandela Effect shortlist, which is just each video is about one change, and it's famous work of arts and monuments and things like this. You know, you've seen me talking about some of this near.
Yeah.
It's all things for all different people to be able to observe what is happening. And in my opinion, it is tied into the creator, and I do believe he's given us clues to show us there's much more than the physical, because most of this physical, it's all fake. It's all deception, right? The whole space agencies are fake. The entire media of the world is fake. The education system is fake. The money is fake. The food is mostly fake. It's like, where does it stop, you know?
Yeah, this was pretty much a good explanation. I will connect it to God a little bit soon, but I think that if you're referring to Israelis on what they can be interested of, I think that you should go to the Bible, okay, and try
Yeah.
to show them a little bit more like examples from over there, because I think that Israelis or like Jewish people in general will show them something from the Bible. They'll say, "Oh, we have these interpretations for that. It's like that because it's been changing, whatever." And I know that that lots of people will be interested in that, and maybe we'll be able to hand you and input you with some good information about this topic. I remember the huge duel you had with Rob Skiba over the Lion and the Lamb quite recently, and it was quite I know interesting and amusing at once. And I will tell you.
Well, again, even these people like him that deny the Mandela effect. I mean, he remembers Lion and Lamb himself. I mean, he said it in an old video, and he's quoted other verses that have changed specifically the way they were before the Mandela effect changed them. Specifically, the way that we've already made videos on these changes before these people that deny it. The same words that they deny come right out of their mouth. Like one of my favorite ones is Matthew 18:20, which changed just before coronavirus rolled out. And that is with Matthew 18:20, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. Now it says where two or three are gathered. Like there's a limit to the number of gathered, which is exactly what they did when they rolled out Corona. And that has changed in every Bible, including in the original text all the way back. So, you know, and I get everybody still saying that. Everybody says that. Everybody that's a pastor, a preacher, a Christian flat earther, they all quote it. Sometimes they'll even say Matthew 18:20, where two or more gather in my name. And I even walked up to preachers on the street lately. That's what I've been doing too. When I'm talking to people about COVID at the beach, I see people with the Bible in their hand. I walk right up to them. They're there to preach the Bible. The last guy I walked up to was like, "What do you got there?" My Bible. I'm like, "That's pretty old, huh?" He's like, "Oh," and he opened it. It had all this stuff meticulously underlined because he really studies his Bible. And I asked him, Isaiah 11:6, you know, what animal lies at the way? He told me straight out, the lion. Then he opened his book and he was shocked. And then I said, "I got one more for you. Matthew 18:20. He said, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst." He opened his book, and of course it said two or three because they've all changed.
I think that the Lion and the Lamb is an issue. I think that I even talked about it in your show. I will tell you my opinion on it. Okay, I think that it wasn't like problems with the translation. But perhaps there was a problem with the translation or whatever. But I think that there was a Mandela effect over on that version of the translated version. Okay, because in Israel, as I know myself as a child and and also like my friends, I really love to be involved with the Bible. There was no Aryeh, okay? There was no Aryeh. Aryeh is lion, okay, in Hebrew. There was always a wolf in that verse in Hebrew. I don't remember it anyway otherwise, okay? It's also like a lot, really. If you take the Bible as a language which is as Hebrew as the language which is the Bible was written, you will see also like there's a correlation in this sentence between the parts and between the animals. Okay, so it can't be also with language, like, okay, they have like same scales, so it works out better with the wolf, okay, regarding the scale of the Hebrew language, and I don't ever remember it was a lion. So perhaps the Mandela effect happened, I don't deny it, okay, but it could be happening over in the translated versions. And I will say to you that just today I will tell you another story, which is it's rather more to the translation of things. Today, someone told me that people sometimes count. There's the Hebrew calendar, and there's the counting of years. So today we started this New Year's. We started the 5,782 year. Okay, to the creation of the world by Judaism. Now, people are usually look into all kinds of phrases from the Bible, which phrase is the number 782, okay? Which verse in the Bible? And it came out that in the Bible, the King James Bible, was how should you chase 1,000 and to put 10,000 to fleet, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up. Okay? Now, it's kind of like weird because I kind of like found out the end of the sentence, okay? Shut them up, okay? It looked like a little bit funny to me. And I looked at the Hebrew version, and over there it says להסגירם, meaning to hand them over, okay? To hand them over to someone else, okay? Now, it kind of like shows you that in Hebrew, whenever you want to tell them to shut up, so we tell them to close their mouth, okay? So it kind of like to close the mouth, meaning to kind of like using this verb of sagur, which is meaning the same thing as to enclose them and to shut their mouth, okay? So it's kind of like it shows that the translation was really bad over here. And you have like terrible faults over here in the scriptures that came out of like just mistranslations, and people are, I think, really relying on those scriptures, and every word is like countable and everything. So I think that you should like really consider what's the authenticity and of the of the translation of those scriptures. Okay, mainly in the King James Bible, because I know that everybody are like lying on it. So that's that's my 2 cents about Mandela effects and the scriptures. I think it will go to another short break, okay, and we'll be coming back. We'll conclude this show, okay?
Okay.
Cool.
It'll take a lot of hard work. It's going to take some time. Many of us are frustrated with the nearly 80 million Americans who are still not vaccinated, even though the vaccine is safe, effective, and free.
Even though it's safe, yet all these people are getting sick after getting COVID, allegedly, but we know they're just getting regular sick or other types of sick, or maybe sick from the vaccine, but they're getting sick after getting vaccinated, and they're just calling them breakthrough cases now.
Yeah, it's a flat out fucking lie. The vaccine is safe and effective. They just keep repeating it, because if they repeat shit enough times, people just fucking believe it.
This guy's a fucking faggot.
Might be confused about what is true and what is false about COVID-19. So before I outline the new steps to fight COVID-19 that I'm going to be announcing tonight, let me give you some clear information about where we stand.
Guys, I did speed him up, though, for anybody that didn't see. I know you guys said he sounds sped up already when you might have already heard it, but just so you know, I have him at like 1.2 right now. But it was weird, because I thought I could put him at like 1.3, 1.4, and he was way too fast, so maybe he was already a little fast.
First, we've made considerable progress in battling COVID-19. When I became president, about 2 million Americans were fully vaccinated. Today, over 175 million Americans have that protection.
Can I just say something? Politics are fake, so it doesn't matter, and I'm not, choosing sides of a president or anything. It's completely ridiculous. But what he's saying is completely ridiculous, because it's at a later stage of the thing. So of course more people are fucking vaccinated than before he took office, when the other guy, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. Like the vaccine's been out longer, you fucking moron. Of course more people are going to be vaccinated. Jesus fucking Christ.
Before I took office, we hadn't ordered enough vaccine for every American. Just weeks in office. We did.
Wow,
A week before I
man.
took office on January 20th of this year, over 25,000 Americans died that week from COVID-19. Last week, that grim weekly toll was down 70%. And in 3 months before I took office, our economy was faltering, creating just 50,000 jobs a month. We're now averaging 700,000 new jobs a month in the past 3 months. This progress is real.
He looks like a fucking
While
alien.
America is much in better shape than it
Look at
was
his head.
7 months ago when I took office, I need to tell you a second fact.
America's in better shape. Yeah, the kids are all fucking in schools with masks on, you fucking diddler. Go fuck yourself. This guy's a fucking...
in a tough stretch.
I hate this guy. He's just an actor though, but
Last
it's
for a while.
aggravating.
Highly contagious Delta variant that I began to warn America about back in July spread late summer like it did in other countries before us. While the vaccines provide strong protection for the vaccinated, we read about and hear about and we see the stories of hospitalized people on their
Here we go.
deathbeds among the unvaccinated over the past few weeks.
Actually, pal, we're all fine. I don't know about you guys in the chat, but you know, and he's gonna go on to you know basically blame us again. Again, we're all fine. Where are all the sick, unvaxxed people you speak of? In actuality, the only people I see getting sick seem to be the vaxxed people. What's that all about? Well, it could be a combination of things. Obviously, number one, it could be whatever you're putting in them. Number two, it could be that, well, these are the only idiots that are going to go take your fake PCR test. You know? So, I don't know. We'll continue.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And it's caused
Fuck
by
you.
the fact that despite America having unprecedented and successful vaccination program, despite the fact that for almost 5 months, free vaccines have been available in 80,000 different locations, we still have nearly 80 million Americans.
Not only free, they try to give you cheeseburgers and lap
To make matters
dances.
worse, there are elected officials actively working to undermine the fight against COVID-19. Instead of encouraging people to get vaccinated and mask up, they're ordering mobile morgues for the unvaccinated dying from COVID in their communities. This is totally unacceptable.
Mobile morgues!
Third,
Oh, hold on. I didn't hear that yet. Did you hear that? I gotta wait for Karen to get her headphones on. Karen, get over here. Karen,
What?
did you hear that? Listen to this. I'm gonna rewind it 15 seconds.
undermine the fight against COVID-19. Instead of encouraging people to get vaccinated and mask up, they're ordering mobile morgues for the unvaccinated dying from COVID in their communities. Third,
Here we go again.
you wonder how
Mobile
all this
morgues.
adds up. Here's the math.
Driving
The
around with
vast
mobile
majority of
morgues.
Americans are doing the right thing.
What is a mobile morgue? Is that like a fucking trailer, like fitted up on the
Mobile
inside?
morgues getting for the unvaccinated. They're just driving around, just waiting for unvaccinated people to drop dead from COVID in the street. Just driving around, just waiting for people to drop
Oh,
dead.
it's just like a fucking parade of fucking hearse, just fucking driving around waiting for the call.
Nearly 3/4 of the eligible have gotten at least one shot, but 1/4 has not gotten any. That's nearly 80 million
And we won't.
Americans not
You
vaccinated.
can suck my dick,
In a country as large as ours, that's 25%.
Mr. President.
Minority. That 25% can cause a lot of damage, and they are. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals. Or
No, we don't.
Emergency rooms and intensive care
No, we
units.
don't. We're not in your
He
hospitals.
said
We
we
feel
don't
great.
back-
With a heart attack or
Dude, we're not in your hospitals. We feel great. I feel great.
It sounded like he said the over-vaccinated are flooding our hospitals. That's what it sounded like.
pancreatitis or cancer. And fourth, I want to emphasize that the vaccines provide very strong protection from severe illness from COVID-19. I know there's a lot of confusion and misinformation, but the world's leading scientists
Yeah, you're
confirm
spreading it.
that if you're fully vaccinated, your risk of severe illness from COVID-19 is very low. In fact,
Yet, you guys are getting sick all over the place and just calling them breakthrough cases, like announcing thousands of them every week in every state.
He's got something for Paul. Stones and flip-flops.
So we're back over here with ESH News with Dose of Reality, Brian S Staveley. And on this final segment of the show, we will talk a little bit about creativity and about all kinds of things that related to media, to what we actually do, me and you. And I think that the reason that I kind of like was attracted to your shows and to your content is that you have this glimpse of creativity inside you. Okay, this is what I feel. Usually you get like the content in all sorts of ways, and I don't know, with all kinds of like songs in the middle and all kinds of things that kind of like adds up to the show. Now, for me, I'm kind of like trying to test the media, okay, and whichever I can go, meaning to try out some new ways to present my content. And
Yeah.
I did like a soccer thing, a league during the Corona time. We did like a puppet show. We did all kinds of like things, which is kind of like also like funny and humorous and also like creative. And I think that it came out for me. I will say that when I discovered the flat Earth, so it kind of like proved me the existence of God and the biblical story. And I think that the main thing that I noticed was that on the creation of man, God created the man in his image. Okay, and the way that I understood that in Hebrew we say tzalmo, which is kind of like also like image, but more like a capture or something like that, something which is not really physically resemble. Okay, we're not physically resemble to
Hmm.
God, but He did give us the most important quality that He have, the most important character that He have, which is the creativity. Okay, he's the ultimate creator. So he gave us the creativity that will distinguish us from all animals. Okay, this is the thing that kind of distinguishes us from all animals. Okay, that we can create as creatures. And from that point, I kind of like told myself that my mission in this life will be to serve God, is to create each day, to just create and to put something new into this to this world. And I was wondering if you are coming from the same motives, okay, or do you come from some other motives that kind of like ignites your
Uh,
fire?
yeah. Well, no, very similar, and I feel that and I've even done videos on this, especially right before Corona. I did a video called the update creative versus aggressive because like all these other people were getting really aggressive before the holidays, like 2019, the end of the year, and I just saw so much creativity from these communities that we're in, as far as people like writing parody songs or just especially since COVID rolled out, like finding their own means and their own way of life rather than being tied down to the normal what we thought was normal way of life. Like for me, I mean, the last year and a half's been a complete change, and I've been doing this awakening thing for 11 years now. But the last year and a half's been really crazy, um, and because of COVID. So the flat Earth, I already was at a point, where I knew NASA was basically entirely fake. I didn't know the globe was fake, obviously, when I discovered flat Earth, but it wasn't so shocking to me like it was for other people. But it did make me realize that we are the center of the universe and we are very special. And I think that puts a more positive light and it really brings the creativity out in people. And then when I started seeing the Mandela effect really heavily, which was around the same time, that was like a combination of our importance and then here's the supernatural presenting itself right here. So yeah, and I think that these truths are very I can't even think of the word, but they bring out the best in people. I think they really do. And they really bring out our connection to other people like us.
Yeah, yeah, I do believe that. And I think that, do you think that the content that you're creating has any chance to really affect people in the major effect? Okay, meaning regular people, maybe people who are not awake yet. How does these kind of like shows can
Well,
really affect reality?
the way for me is, see, I don't have flashy looking videos that are really short that are going to go viral, and that's the type of stuff like that will get the attention of, like, these the quote unquote normies or whatever, these people walking around. But what I've noticed happen a lot lately, and what I've always thought my thing was, I'm here to keep pressing on, keep uncovering the truth, presenting it to everybody, using a lot of discernment, and letting the people that listen to the shows go and present it to their friends and their family members and all that. And like I said, a lot of that's been going on this year, where a lot of people have gone and shown their family my 9/11 stuff type of thing. So I don't think like I know, like when I post my videos on Facebook in one of these places where all those people are, nobody's watching it. You know, no, even when I multi-stream to Facebook, I literally get less than like 50 views. You know, nobody clicks on it over there. You know, so it's up to the people that watch the shows to do their part. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I can't do what you do and get on the mic and talk all day. But okay, but you can take the information and talk to your coworkers, right? You can talk to your friends. Some of them, obviously, we know it's totally taboo with some people, but you guys can try. And I think that's kind of the way that this information spreads. It's never going to spread across media platforms. We're not gonna blow up to the degree that we deserve. You know.
Another question for you. In this last year, okay, of the COVID thing, what really got to you? What really pissed you off? Okay, like what?
As soon as I saw parents with their kids outside in the summertime in California in 100-degree heat with masks on them, that really pissed me off, and I saw a lot of it, and I kept seeing it.
Yeah.
That's what really made me mad.
Yeah, I think that I will conclude this answer of yours, and I think that I will include it in mine. I think that the thing that pissed me off mostly was the treatment. Okay, the way that the people which are controlling us, the way that they behave to these to other people. Okay, and that includes your example as well, because. I think that if we're returning to God's story again, so He created man and gave him this whole creation, this whole world, okay, for him to be dominant in, okay, and this was His present to the man, okay. Now over here, you see how the people who are controlling us, how do they treat, the human being as a human being, okay? Yep. They told him to go stay safe, stay at home, go put your mask on, take 1,000 shots, whatever. And this is not how treat a person, a human being. This is how you treat a dog, okay? So it's that's the thing that kind of like pissed me off. And if we're like talking about God for a second. How do you feel He's like present in your life, and whatever you do in everyday life, and especially like in the last half a year when we see that the war over here is not an earthly war?
I just feel that I feel that actually I'm being shown a lot of things changing in front of me more than even a lot of other people that see the reality shifts. I feel that God's intervening in that way, but I think He's intervening in a lot of people's lives. So I mean, I don't really know exactly how to answer that, but I just feel like I am doing what I'm here meant to do. I've given up. I decided a year and a half ago, once this whole mask thing started, well, I'm never going to go back and work in a restaurant again. And that's what I was doing at the time. And then I just, every step of the way here, as they kept setting deadlines with this and that, or we're going to give you guys a stimulus and then it's going to run out here, this and that, I just kept setting goals on what I needed to do every few months to get myself in a position where I could keep doing this all the time and keep putting my voice out there and not go back and work for the man, get out of the matrix. I completely left behind my whole place I lived my entire life. For 42 years, I lived in Massachusetts. It's in the Northeast United States, but then I moved down here to North Carolina, and now I live with Karen and Ted, and so I live with 2 other flat earthers and people that get it, and it's a big difference than living in a house with people that believe in politics and believe in COVID. My cousin was a huge Trump fan. He hung a Trump flag on the house, and his wife, and they're really good people, but they're so misled. And she's a nurse at a hospital. So, and I'm over here broadcasting how COVID's fake in their house. It's like, it just wasn't going to work, Mm-hmm. So I changed my whole life. And then I spent half of this last year and a half in California, going back and forth and trying to talk to people. So I changed what I do. I changed my whole mission. I obviously I make tons of videos, over 1,300 of them, but I still walk on the street and I try and talk to people and get people to not live in fear, not close up their businesses for this nonsense, not just roll over, take the mask off, look at how all the inconsistencies, how ridiculous it is. And I just feel I have a good way of talking to people. So I feel like that's my mission. And we have to get louder and louder, all of us. We all have a responsibility now. If we, I don't want to say if we know the truth, because we don't know the whole truth. None of us knows even close.
No.
But we are being lied to, and we want to know the truth. We need to be loud. We can't be closet truthers or quiet, or we can't be worried about how people think when we speak out, because that's what the normies do. That we criticize them for not speaking out when they know things are wrong. What about when we know things are really wrong and we don't even want to tell them because we don't want to deal with whatever? No, we have to tell everybody. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I want to. You said earlier about the work and everything, so totally with you on that one. My awakening of flat Earth just got about 1 or 2 years after I finally stopped working for someone else, okay, and gaining money for him, okay, and decided to establish a business on my own. And I think that this is a thing. A big trouble that lots of truthers are encountered these days, especially now with the vaccines and everything, and them being laying out of work. So I think that in this point I will try to promote whatever you do, and I think it's a good place to talk about the Rockfin transfer that you did with your channel, because you were on YouTube for lots of years and over Facebook. And I remember like a few months ago you had this big crisis that they kept deleting you and everything on the channel, and so what did you decide to do over there, and how do you think that the alternative media, which platforms will the alternative media will host, you know?
Yeah, well, I try to be everywhere I can because I always, like I said, I've been doing this for 11 years, but people only see me on YouTube for 3 because I never did it on YouTube until 2018 because I knew about the censorship that was coming. I could see the plan and see how they set it up to centralize everybody and then just pull the rug out later. But, they got me real bad in the last couple of years, just terminating channels of mine. Started one day they deleted like 100 and 150 videos of mine overnight. Like, just they put me on 2 strikes. They didn't kill the channel, but then they do that on purpose too. They want to keep you dangling around so you'll self-censor yourself, stay on their platform, don't say this word, don't say that word, and then people get used to censoring themselves and accepting that. I don't accept that, so I've been bouncing around. We tried DLive for a while till they pulled the rug out on us after that whole fake Capitol building thing in January. They demonetized everybody. And so everybody, also I should say PayPal and Venmo both just terminated me. The PayPal terminated 3 accounts. Venmo terminated my account just a few weeks ago. So we did Twitch for a little while. I upload things to Odyssey, but now Rockfin's been around for, a lot of people have moved over there in the past several months. I was a little hesitant at first because I wanted to see how it played out because it is a paid platform. But basically, you can put everything up there for free. You can just choose when you want to do a show that's premium that people have to be a subscriber for. And what the way that is, they have a good system set up for. First of all, the most important thing is nobody's being censored. They don't pull down any of my stuff. I put all my 9/11 stuff, everything I want, all my COVID stuff, everything, right? So that's the most important thing. But they actually compensate people well to be there. So people pay $10 a month, but it's not for one person's channel. It's not like somebody's Patreon. You pay $10 a month to subscribe to the platform, and you unlock everything from anybody that does anything premium on there. And then, they have a way that you earn money, and they give that money back to you. And it's crazy once you see it because you're getting compensated way better than whatever YouTube would do. So I'm just trying to build that up now. And, and I've had a lot of things. I've had the 9/11 show I did live. For a fairly new platform, I mean, I had 220 people in the live chat on a Saturday morning, like early too, Mm-hmm. So it's building up. There's a lot of people over there that you'll know, like Globusters and Jeranism and obviously Karen B's over there. Mark Sargent's over there now. Just all sorts of people are over there. So
they'll switch to Rockfin, you say? They'll like switch, yeah.
Yeah, they're all switched over. Yeah, I know that Bob's basically with Globusters made almost a complete switch, but they're doing a Wednesday show on YouTube still. Jaren's moved like all of his stuff over there. I've got everything. I don't put anything on YouTube anymore at all. I mean, at all. I put all my stuff over there, but I also put my stuff up on Odyssey, and everything's free on Odyssey. But again, so what we've done now is me and Karen, we're going to have a show tomorrow. We started a Rockfin Premium show that's going to be every Wednesday afternoon, an extra show on top of what we already do. And that's just for people that subscribe to the platform. So that gives people an incentive to subscribe through whoever you want. It's only one person, and you support them, but then you unlock everything, everything on the platform.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's cool.
Yeah,
it works out, and they pay you every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I'm really recommending. We'll take this opportunity to recommend all our Israeli viewers and of course our broad viewers that will come and join into this Rockfin. It's paying, but you have to pay. But I say that it's kind of like worthwhile, and I'm like considering. I should have done it like a couple of weeks ago, but I will subscribe over there.
Yeah, they only pay for the premium content. So I uploaded like 600 or 700 videos that are totally free on there. So they can go to my channel and they can go through tons of stuff. It's only every now and again I do something premium. Now it's like once a week, but I do several shows a week. So.
Okay, cool. So I think that we will be getting forward to the end of the show, and I think that I know that this season that I'm doing here on ESH News is dedicated to the Almighty God. And usually what we do at the end of the shows, we are saying some optimistic words, thinking positive, And so tell me, Brian, with this current horrible reality that we are witnessing, what will be, the salvation? How we will see, bright things in the future, if any? What do you think?
Well, I will say that a lot of us that are motivated right now are really making big moves to step out of the system completely as much as we can. And I see a lot of that from a lot of people. I see a lot of people that have just packed up and moved, not just me. Ted did the same thing. Ted moved over here. Karen's boyfriend, Ted, he moved over here on a whim too, just from Washington. Another one of my really good friends that you probably know, he just bought an RV now, so he can be on the go. And everybody's kind of changing their lifestyle because that other thing over there, that reality that they call it, it's broken. It doesn't. That's not necessarily broken. It was designed to be that way and enslave people. But I don't want to partake in it anymore. The other thing too that I would say that's probably stressing a lot of us out right now is we know a lot of people that have gotten the vaccine, and a lot of us are just waiting to see, like, are these people going to get sick? What's going to happen? We don't know what's real. Like, we know the media is completely fake, so it's even hard to believe anything when we hear about even when we hear about the number of vaxxed people that are getting sick. It's like, where do we draw the line on what we believe? So some of us are like, what's going to happen to my mother, my aunt? Well, I will say this. If something terrible does happen to a family member and they do pass on because of it, I don't think that – all I think is that they failed the test and they'll repeat it. And I don't think that they're, like, damned to hell or anything like that. These people are all deceived. The Creator knows that, and they'll get another chance to pass the test, if you will. So I know that's kind of a deep thing, but that's kind of how I feel. Okay, good.
Brian, I want to thank you a lot for joining us here at ESH News. It's been a real pleasure, especially after this marathon that you had of the last 2 weeks or so. I will keep calling to your shows, I promise you that, and give my reports and everything, and we'll be in touch, and you're welcome to host with us at ESH News whenever you want.
All right, buddy. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, cool. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Staveley's going live again in Centerville, searching for truth, taking some calls. Some people claim something wrong with his brain, 'cause he knows we don't live on the ball. Caffeine and Mandela affected, the facts are collected. It's a beautiful day now in this neighborhood. Centerville. Karen Dior, caller watching the chat. Some people claim we've got nothing to gain, but we know it's still at its flat.